all the mass fans
all the mass fans out there of our new budding podcast. Everyone out there needs two things. They need a board of advisors and they need a tribe.
Mm-hmm. Have we talked about this before?
No, I don't think we have.
Okay. You must talk to my mom then, because I've talked to her about this before.
So I'm curious. And those are two different things, though,
Yeah.
right? And I'm blown a bit away by how many people, like, there's nothing more than I love. And in the sense of yes, I am a mortgage advisor. I am, my living is based off of doing mortgages. So I speak highly of them, and I love real estate, right? But there's nothing more that gives me, I really do my job because I enjoy it. And one of the most, and I bet you feel similar on this, is one of the most exciting things to me is when someone sits down, says, hey, Chris, I want to buy a house. I want to buy a house in this estimated time frame. It's in the future. I want these types of things along with it, but I'm open. How should I do this?
Mm-hmm.
And listens. And it's like, oh my gosh, like that person that wants to say, not that I'm, some fantastic person, but I have experience, right? I have over 13, 14 years of doing real estate, both personally and for thousands of clients in Flagstaff. And while I don't know everything, hopefully that person is going to get some ideas and some things that they didn't know before from a local boots on the ground perspective. Right. And I love that in the sense of like, man, this person, I hope that and now I feel that responsibility that I can help this person really make some little decisions here and there that might massively change their trajectory on their net worth and their family and what they can actually get. And I love these conversations where sometimes it leads to exactly that, where they're like, hey, we only thought we could do this. And now you're opening up some strategies that allow us to do more and be more. And where the contradiction to that, and like, here we come, like Thanksgiving's coming up, and there's gonna be some person, love you to death, will help you if you're there, that's gonna call up like Thanksgiving Day and show it up, and all of a sudden this idea hit them, maybe right after the turkey coma, that they want to buy that house and buy it right now. Right. And like, hey, just get me pre-qualified. I'm writing the offer. We're doing this. And I don't have any opportunity really to help that person other than say, I will enable you. Right?
Didn't I do that to you?
No,
I called you on a Friday afternoon. I said, hey, we got to get pre-qualified right now. Let's go.
No, but we have many conversations leading up to that, right? And so it's just the person that they like, maybe they've had some ideas. Who knows? Hopefully they've educated themselves on some things, but they don't allow experts and professionals. They just shoot, right?
Right.
Like it's this, and I'm sure you have the same type of thing in your profession where they have people aren't getting a board of advisors. They're just, watching whatever news stations, ideas, and media, and they just think, hey, enable me. I'm doing this.
And, I mean, candidly, that's probably not my ideal client.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And there is a factor there. Someone who respects and wants professional advice, yes, obviously that's the type of person I want to work with. But more than that, that's not about who I want to work with. That's also about the service I can provide for someone. Because if someone is seeking that professional advice and respects it as part of their game plan to strategize for these long-term priorities, that's opening up the door for us to have a lot more meaningful conversations where I can just shut up and listen and learn what's important to them. And then, again, bring that conviction to whatever we're doing. Conviction is by far one of my favorite words when it comes to investment strategies because it's probably the most critical ingredient to any strategy that we do. Like, I did not buy GameStop last year when everyone bought it because I had zero conviction behind that, right? So
you mean you didn't think that?
I tell people all the time, I'm vanilla. I'm gonna be boring, and I don't do the meme stocks or anything because I have way more fun at the blackjack table.
Yeah. No. So and you mentioned that you've thought about tribe and the board of advisors and talked to people about that. I'm curious to see where your thoughts are with that. What does it mean on either one of those? I think we kind of hit that board of advisors topic a little bit, but. And just knowing that, as I'm asking you questions, but then going all sorts of different directions too, where I am, I frequently work with just amazing people that, in real estate especially, that it's like they will sit down and you pick your agent and you can pick your brother, sister's cousin's friend.
Mm-hmm.
or the kid that was getting C's and D's in high school and then became a real estate agent. You're like, hey, buddy, I'm going to caution you on that, right? Or you can pick someone that's a seasoned pro and ask them how many closings a month are you doing? Like, or do you know what's going on in the market? And you can pick their brain and they will help you. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, man, why aren't people, like, it blows my mind that people aren't assembling their board of experts. And so many people, I mean, most of these people aren't fee for service. Right. I'll sit down with anyone and spend time in talking about real estate and goals and ideas and we'll see where it goes. And I think that's just in so many different financial aspects or people's priorities that they just need to say, hey, I don't know everything. I'm going to seek resources, local resources, and find those. Did you have anything to add on to the board aspect before we talk about tribe? Because I'm curious to hear your thoughts on tribe.
Well, I mean, yeah, with the board aspect, you hit the nail on the head. We're not experts about everything. I think Teddy Roosevelt had a quote where he said, if I can be right 75% of the time, then I am exceeding my highest expectation, which means he knew 25% of the time he needed to lean on someone else. Yeah. I mean, I think about, you're in my board of advisors, right? If someone comes to me and they have a question about loans or mortgages or anything along those lines, I refer them to you. My CPA, she's on my board of advisors as well. My favorite scapegoat line with clients is when I tell them I am not a tax professional. Yeah. Talk to your tax professional, right? Yeah. So
versus, hey, I saw this on a blog once.
Exactly. But I think
or Facebook. Hey,
Twitter,
Facebook said buy this stock, said meme
Reddit.
stocks. Oh, yeah.
Oh gosh. But I think board of advisors can branch even beyond just our professional network, right? Like, I have people that I can lean on when I need emotional support as well, and that might be bleeding a little bit into the tribe area. Yeah. But you know, I know if I have a tough dilemma with work or something I need to talk through, that my mom is available for me. I love calling my mom out of the blue. I called her on my drive over here today. So I was like, Mom, I have to talk to this guy, Chris. It's going to be horrible. What should I do? So yeah, I think...
shout out to Mom. I'm sure she'll watch this at some point. Oh. My mom was my first view, I think.
She's the first person I was sending it to.
This was so fantastic. I'm like, thanks, Mom.
I mean, it's the truth, though. I remember... to that line, when I first started in this business, I was working for a separate financial firm in Arkansas, and I had to cold call every day. And I would time block when I was cold calling in the morning, and cold calling's not fun, right? Fortunately, I don't have to do it anymore. Yep. But my very first call of the day would always be my mom, and she knew that I was going to call her because I was like, hey, I just need someone to answer the phone on my first call and be happy that I'm talking to you. You know, and that was a board of advisor role for me at that point, was someone that could snap me into gear so I could get to work. So
and even though we're going a lot of different directions here in life in general right now, I think, and that's when we as we talk through that board and tribe, that I've had so many moments as an adult that you just realize, like, you're doing it right. You're an adult, and there's not a teacher that's interested in your progress or your grades. There's not like, we had different, whether in different programs or youth or scouting or different things where you always had someone in your court, and you get there in adulthood and you realize, like, who's going to help me figure this out, right? And that sometimes you're like, hey, you're the guy or you're the girl, right? You're managing your life. And that I think that's just huge. That's just something I've thought a lot about, is that we get in these positions and we expect a lot of ourselves in performance, whether it's home life, professional life, and different things, and not realizing that if we think we have to do this alone, that we're going to just far short our returns on what we can do in our life.
So, interesting point to that. Before, I had mentioned 2 books that I've read.
Yeah.
Only 2 books I've read in my life, right? No.
Less than 40. I heard this stat. Less than 44% of adults read 1 book a year.
Did you say 38% of stats are coming up on the spot?
Yeah. No, but I think that one was real.
So I'm actually reading this book right now. It's by Jason Selk. He's a mental coach.
Okay.
I'm a huge Jason Selk fan for a number of reasons. The primary one being that he helped mentally coach the St. Louis Cardinals when they won the World Series in 2011. I'm a huge Cardinals fan. Yeah. But he has this book called Relentless Solution Focus.
Okay.
And this this is a little bit of a segue, but it does tie into what you're talking about, how doing things alone, right? We're facing these problems alone. So his whole point is that we have to retrain our brain to be solution focused versus problem focused. Because if you think about it from a biological standpoint, we're out there in the wild, we have to be thinking about all the problems that could happen. That's how we survive.
Yeah.
Right? So he had an interesting stat, which is that about 70% of our daily thoughts are problem centric.
Yeah.
And only about 20% of those 70% are relevant problem centric thoughts. So,
which kind of going back into everything we've been saying is I'd probably go so far as to think that then that's saying that so many of those problem-centric thoughts are the looking down.
Right. Yeah, you're looking down. You're not, you feel like you might be going through it alone. You're not leaning on other people to help you with those solutions.
Yeah.
And then, tying it to the whole idea of a tribe. Your tribe, I mean, that's your close network of family, loved ones, friends, people that you can be vulnerable with. The same people that you can make sure are helping keep you accountable as well. So,
and one of the big things that I've been going on as we go, talk through this, and it has so much connotation to the financial aspect as well, is that tribe really being of like-minded and like-valued people that are going where you want to go.
Lions run with lions.
Yeah. It's so this Daniel Harkavy, he owns a coaching business, right? And I heard a presentation of his recently where he spoke about there's 4 states of being, and there's survival, growth, success, and significance. And he said most people cycle within the first 3 because they never found the 4th, right? And to say, okay, if you think about it, so anyone listening to this, it's like, think about your tribe and where you feel you are. Your tribe is probably pretty close to the same spot, right? And it's interesting, and when you think about that, and to say, okay, if you're surviving, you're paycheck to paycheck, and probably most of the people that you're associating with are in that same spot, right? And that doesn't mean that we can't still be friends. You can't change your family.
Chris is just outgrowing his friends over here.
No, but to really say, like, hey, like the empowerment to say, where do I want to go? I'm going to raise my vision. I'm going to up my game. I'm going to level up. Whether that's the basics of, I'm going to start figuring out how to cut away on wants. So I'm saving some money, and I'm going to connect with people and the board, right, that can help me level up, and I'm going to start investing some money. I'm going to get some big goals that are going to drive my conviction on what I need to be. And then as you're doing that, you actually are leveling up your tribe as well, and hopefully bringing people with you, right? You then move together and bring that tribe up. And it's just so, I've sat down and talked with you as part of my tribe and board, kind of play some mutual roles there on it, where it's like and I always talk about the devil, is better than the devil you don't. And that's right. My portfolio is extremely heavy real estate, just because I love real estate. It's my passion. And I feel I have a good understanding of that opportunity and investment. Right. But I do feel, at least personally, strongly, that I need to be diversified. I have other financial goals that real estate's not accomplishing, because I'm a never sell mentality. So it's like, well, it's not really entirely going to, there's other, the college savings, the 401k, like different things that I need to be balanced in. And so that's when I go to that tribe aspect, that you give me so much more confidence and lead to my conviction of the market, because of your conviction and what you're doing and experience, right? And that's where I think the other thing is that you're able to connect with people that are running lines around lines, right? People are running in different directions, but have other expertises. So it blends kind of into that board piece a little bit, but have different experience that we can say, all right, this is my experience. I've already been there, and your experience. Or even when, you and I were talking right around when you were having your first kid, and you're connecting with other people that were also having their first kid or had kids. And it's just like, okay, we can have that whole like dad tribe, and you need each other in that, where it's like, all right, hey, we love our wives, but it's like, you got to figure out what's going to happen with that situation, right? And how do you manage that? And then, just tell her she's pretty. That's all she needs to know, and do the dishes. Like those two things will get you out of most. But
does Abby watch this?
She actually hates that when you're so pretty. She's like, what do you want? And so, but yeah, just in seeing other people have different experience, whether it's just life or financial, etc. But especially, on that financial side of things, like people are doing things with real estate that I never even thought of, right? And it's like, man, I didn't think of that strategy,
right.
or with financial, or with investing in markets and bonds and stocks. And yeah, I don't know, it's a whole like rant on tribe. But what are the thoughts that you have on that tribe aspect?
Well, I mean, I think it's interesting because, like, could toss credit right back to you. This past year, for the first time, my family decided we wanted to venture into real estate investing, break out of the devil I know, which is the stock market. And it was like, who do I talk to about this? Well, who's the person I know that just goes bonkers for real estate investing? It's Chris Hallows. I'm going to talk to him and figure out if this makes sense for us. But yeah, I mean, it's all personal experiences. You could be talking to a professional like yourself who has all the experience in the world when it comes to mortgages, right? You could be talking to a tax professional who has all the experience in the world when it comes to taxes. You could be talking to a plumber who has all the experience in the world when it comes to pipes and how to make things work. And it's that experience that you're going to learn from. And we do the same thing in our day-to-day life all the time. Yeah. You're sitting down with friends for a drink or coffee or lunch, and you're sharing experiences with each other, and you're learning as a group. And I think that goes back to that whole tribe, lions run with lions, the people you're surrounding yourselves from that you can learn from that help that cream rise to the top, right? Yeah. I think about my college track team when I was running in college. At the beginning of every season, we would have walk-ons that would come and try to join the team. And it was always a little cringy when the time would come around where walk-ons would start getting cut, you know?
Yeah.
And their back would be pushed up against the wall. But it just came down to the fact that if you're not helping push us in this right direction, the direction we want to go to be champions, win races in the NCAA, then you're dragging us back. And, you mentioned that you start to hang out with like-minded people. You're not necessarily ditching people along the way, nor should you. But I think there is a lot of character that is developed when you're surrounding yourselves with people that make you a better person and help you strive and push towards those bigger priorities that you might have, right?
Yeah. No, we laugh. Like, do you not have the email script that you just have ready to go in your inbox that just fires people as your friends? No, just kidding. Copy, paste. You're not my level. No.
Fortunately,
the family one's a little harder. Took me more times.
Most of my friends, if you have an affinity for fantasy football and good craft beer, then we're usually in the same group at that point. So.
You need recreation in your life. But yeah, and that's, and I know we're talking about a lot of things that seem like Captain Obvious, but, it's a lot of thoughts that I've had that just really, really have been on my mind to where, like, have you listed that out? And I probably need to sit down and say, okay, who really is in my tribe and who's on my board? And then on that next piece is, and another phrase I heard is you have to earn yourself into the next room, right? Is if you want to be in, you want to, associate with people that are having significance here in our community, right? Not just success, but significance, changing lives and changing futures, right? Who are they and what are they doing? What are the disciplines and life and accomplishments that those people have? And if you want to really be significant in your own way, shape, and form, right? We all have different talents and goals and gifts, priorities, right? I got to remember that one. But it's like, how do I need to continue to change and evolve and grow and run with that pack and bring people with me, but know where I need to, be strategic. Not strategic. That sounds like overly, planned with it.
Know where you need.
Be intentional.
Yeah, it's the whole idea when opportunity knocks open a door, but also be dressed for the occasion, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, you said a key word there, significance, and I think that significance, it takes different forms for different people. Yeah. And you probably see it with your clients. I see it with my clients. Significance might be creating a legacy for yourself where you're able to donate money to the animal shelter or the food bank, or significance might be doing charitable work in the community. I think it's just really cool, circling back to this whole idea of tribe, and board of advisors is that tribe and board of advisors can be anything you want it to be, as long as there are people that are supporting you on your journey towards that significance, towards that next room, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
So.
And in that, like, not trying to like overly bring things into full circle here, but as we're saying,
I was curious when we were.
No. It doesn't have to always come back. But that's where I think is I'm sure there's some studies and things out there of saying like, hey, these people that thought this all, that people that think the sky is falling together, and everyone, and they pull people that work the crab bucket analogy, right? Do you know that one?
No, crab bucket analogy?
I'm not a crab fisherman, so I don't know if this is true, but I believe it's true. Is that when you crabfish, that they don't necessarily put them in like a covered bucket, right? That they'll put the crabs in just an open bucket, because what happens is if any crab starts to get towards the edge of the bucket, the other crabs will pull them back down, right? Have you never heard that one?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's this group mindset when they're like,
crabs. Oh, you trying to escape?
Yeah,
right back.
It's like right back down. But we do that. Like if you're in the wrong tribe, right? And everyone's saying, hey, the markets, you sell it all, whatever, like they're crabs in a bucket to say like, I've been watching all these mainstream news media channels, and I put my tinfoil hat on. Mm-hmm. I'm building a bunker. If you're going like these heavy, some people, and we all get in these moments of stress. But that's the idea, is that you have the right tribe and people around you to help you understand, okay, let's talk about this logically. I'm not, not necessarily here, I'm going to indoctrinate you with my sunshine,
right.
but there's some value to that when I bet people, when it comes to financial, sorry, I'm bringing it full circle here. We're not psychologists, we're not therapists, but when it comes to that financial aspect of our lives though, is that I would wonder, I'm sure there's studies been out there, we should find them there, that people that, hey, hung out in the like-minded crowds of it's all going to be, the sky falling, that all those people were self-fulfilled prophecies, right? And they drug each other down to not take, and there's a level, right? You have to have risk assessment, mm-hmm. right? And some people have less or more than others, and our goal priorities are all different. But that's where I'd just be so curious to see that people that just get in these group think that the sky's falling, that we're in a recession and inflation, and those words just weigh so heavy on them where they think, I can't, right? This deck is stacked against me. Government, the economy, politics, war, whatever, this, all the terrible things going on in the world that just, we know there's, fear and ugly things sell better on clicks than the sunshine and rainbows of someone saving a cat out of a tree, right? And when people get in that mindset and group think, that they limit themselves, but it's and financially is a huge aspect of that.
Well, it's important to always recognize this is normal. My favorite phrase that people will say to me is, this time it's different. Because I look at them, I'm like, it's always different. World War II was different. 9/11 was different. Hurricane Katrina was different. Hey, 2020, economic shutdown, that was pretty different too. Yeah. But if you keep a level head on your shoulders, you come back out of it. Yeah. Right? I had interesting stat. So that whole groupthink mentality. Yeah. Again, historically speaking, but if you look at markets when they're in times like these, before they start their expansion, typically consumer sentiment with the markets is at its all-time low right before markets pick up again.
Yep.
So.
Yep, exactly. I think whereas unemployment numbers are at their all-time high before they go low, right? It's just like all these big shifts in market. And so no, I think that's huge. I think it's just so important for us to see, like when we talk about interest rates today, and that's just such a hot button for a lot of people. And yes, flat out, they're impactful, very impactful. But the current interest rate is right at the 40-year average.
Right.
So when you say, hey, big picture thinking here, right? And what are the opportunities because of what's happening? Not what are the problems, right?
Solution-focused thought versus problem-centric thought.
I love it. Well, we covered a lot of ground here. I think we're going on about an hour.
Are we really?
Each one gets longer and longer. You and I are dangerous. We aren't the celebrities that are going to command a 3-hour podcast here. So
Joe Rogan better look out.
Exactly. Any closing thoughts here, Eric?
No, I appreciate your time. And really my only closing thought is that I hope anyone who is listening to this garnered some form of good information. And I love Flagstaff. I love this community. There's opportunity for all of us in it.
I love it. Cue outro, Jessica. Find your board, find your tribe. Eric Fernandez, give him a call.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks.